Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How you doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing my makeup rehab for the year 2024. So we're going to intro this. I'm going to walk you through my empties for the month of January. I'm going to walk you through all the purchases that I made, and then we're going to set up some success planning for makeup rehab for the year 2024, and I hope that sounds like something you're interested in watching. I saw a lot of success from this last year, I feel like, and I'm just looking forward to more success in this. This is a little bit more strict, but also not all at the same time. So I hope that you'll stick around, keep on watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section. With that said, for those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high and colorful beauty and self-care. I also am a field leader for Ulta Beauty, so I get a lot of education in my position, and I like to bring you that education here. But ultimately, I'm just out here talking about makeup because I like to talk about makeup. And I hope at the end of the day, you enjoy it and that you'll want to stick around and we can be friends. So with that said, let's roll into this and talk about some makeup, shall we? Here we are, yet another year and another low buy scenario, I guess you might call this. For those of you who are unaware, Makeup Rehab, I think, was established by Steph from It's Just Steph here on YouTube, and it is a points system, a way of maintaining a low buy without feeling pressure for like a dollar amount that you have to stay under, or like the no buy thought process, right? And I decided to utilize this kind of structure for myself because I know that if I stick myself into a box, that I'm going to continue to want to claw my way out of that box. So like no buys are never a good option for me. If I decide to quasi no buy momentarily, then that's one thing. But if I tell myself I cannot buy anything, then I am jonesing to purchase. And that's just never a good thing because then I over purchase. The makeup rehab situation was created with the thought process in mind that you have a certain amount of points that, as far as purchasing goes, you're willing to let your inventory grow by, or you're willing to let yourself spend money on for that many points for the year. And for every purchase that you make, you lose a point, but for everything that you empty in your collection, you gain a point back, right? So it's a consistent living document within your inventory list. And from what I understand, as I said, Steph from It's Just Steph here on YouTube is the brainchild behind this. And I just appreciate her. I've seen a lot of success from this and not finding myself like overspending in ways that I didn't need to overspend year over year. I think this is now my third year doing it. This year I wanted to get a little more strict and strategic with myself on the products that I'm bringing in and encompass all the things that I'm trying to use, and then also all the things that I know that I'm going to purchase, not trying to set myself up for failure there. I do have a list of rules. I also used to keep like my inventory incoming and inventory outgoing on two separate spreadsheets, in addition to my beauty bank being on a separate spreadsheet and all the things. So I have tried to like condense it down this year so that all of those things are on one tab on my Excel workbook for my inventory, so that I can just easily slide back and forth amongst them. This is where you're going to see all of the makeup empties and all of the makeup purchases that I make. I do a video called Beauty Empties here on my channel. It's usually once every couple of months or so. That is for all products that filter into the beauty category that are not makeup. So perfumes, soaps, deodorants, maybe even toothpaste, or like anything like that. Tools, that all filters into my beauty empties. Whereas this is all about makeup, period. In 2024, my goals were no more than 35 products entering into my inventory that I purchased. I think I ended up with 36. Now, that's not saying that only 36 items entered into my collection because, as I said in the intro, I am an Ulta Beauty field leader, so I do get a lot of gratis. This is about maintaining my pocketbook and the products that I am purchasing with my own money, not about the gratis that's coming in. So my inventory did grow, not big, I guess. It was less than 100 products, but gratis is a large portion of what I do receive into my collection. It all equated to about 36 products that I had purchased and brought into my collection, exceeding those that I had emptied. I also wanted to add no more than 5 blushes. I failed at that. I wanted to add no more than 5 highlighters. I think I also failed at that. I wanted no added lip glosses. I wanted a 1-in, 1-out system for those. And I did actually accomplish that. I actually emptied 7 lip glosses and brought in only 5. So I felt really good about that. No added mascaras, black liquid liners, face palettes. I didn't bring anything in other than face palettes. I did bring a couple of those in. Those were the 5 general rules that I had in place last year. And I was successful in 2 out of the 5. Like, I'm not giving that's a D, right? With that said, my goals for 2024 look very similar. I want no more than 5 added blushes, no more than 5 added highlights. I do think I need to kind of adjust that. I don't really take into account the fact that I do makeup declutters at the beginning of the year. So do I want 5 added blushes on top of what I already see in my, I want no more than 5 extra versus what I see already in my collection? Or do I want to not purchase 5? So there's that. No more than 5 added highlights. Another 1-in, 1-out as far as glosses go. I've added 1 product to my no buy list, and that is liquid lipsticks. I truly have no business purchasing liquid lipsticks. Let's be honest. I don't love lip products, and liquid lipsticks is the absolute least of my loves. And then this year I'm adding also that I want the total dollars of my empties to equal 70% of also what I purchase. So if I purchase $1,000 worth of products on the year, I want my empties to equal $700 of that. This might be a large, lofty goal because pretty typically my empties total equates to about half of what I'm actually spending in purchases, but I want to really strive to hit those markers, right? That's a good goal that I am okay with. In 2020, my inventory consisted of 769 products, and in 2021, it had grown by 300 products, 1,061. In 2022, it grew by another 200 products at 1,244. And in 2023, it actually went down. We were back down to 1,096. With last year starting at 1,096, I only wanted to grow by 35 products that I purchased. I did succeed at that, but my inventory still went up. It went up to 1,168. Now that's less than 100 that it went up by, but you know, not all of those were purchases by me, of course. They were also gratis items, which I'm really happy to say I didn't purchase all those things. But I do have some like makeup rehab rules that I'm going to stick with, and I am going to put that up here right now. It's a really pretty, beautiful sheet, 2024 makeup rehab. These are the rules. So my beauty bank this year is going to start at 10 points. Last year it started at 20. The year before that it started at 35, and then in October I depleted it by half and still ended up with points left at the end of the year. Last year I also ended up with points left at the end of the year. So I just want to make sure that I'm really monitoring myself fairly well. I'll start at 10 points, and for every empty I have, I will add a point, and for every purchase I make, I will take a point away, right? That's how this works. September will no longer be a free month entirely. That's one of my aha moments last year, was that I took that free month and I lost my damn mind and purchased everything that I wanted to purchase in September. If I remember correctly, I calculated it out and I would have lost an additional 39 points in my beauty bank had I counted September's purchases, because I purchased 39 items in September, and that's just stupid. So instead, this year, September, I will allow for 5 free points because it's my birthday month. Points will count minus the 5 free points. With that being said, empties will also count in September, which they hadn't counted for me in September in the past. And I have had empties in September. I just didn't count them for or against me. This year, September I'm only allowed to purchase 5 items for myself. That is my birthday month. That is 5 makeup items is plenty for a birthday present to myself. Gratis and gifts do not count towards my beauty bank points because I'm not responsible for, I am responsible. Let's be honest. I get to pick and choose what actually stays in my collection after I get it in gratis. And I do think that I make wise decisions, but I'm going to have to make better decisions. They don't count for me, but I also don't want to keep everything. I don't need to keep everything. I have a beauty room here full of items that probably should have been decluttered years ago to other people that now will just probably end up going into the garbage. When I think in terms of like skincare specifically, I try to be very good about it, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to use this, so I hoard it and I don't need to. So while gratis and gifts will not count towards my beauty bank points, I must make smarter decisions on what I'm going to be keeping. Beauty spends with gift cards and points also do not count. The reason why is because a lot of times I do get those gift cards as gifts and it's not my money that's being spent. Just a reminder, this is about the money that I spent and maintaining my own pocketbook, not really about my inventory, because I have enough space. I can bring hordes of makeup in here if I wanted to. It's a way to keep my spending in check, not really my inventory in check. In addition, the points purchases are about money that I've already spent. So those things are not going to count towards me. Sets, boxes, and bundles will count per item. This is different than last year and the year previous. I tend to, like when I'm trying out a brand specifically, or when I see a set that's coming out for like Valentine's Day that I absolutely want to get my hands on, I tend to buy the whole like PR package of sorts or bundle of sorts. And previous state, when that came in, because it was one purchase that I made, it counted as one. But that one purchase that I made could have been $280. That's a lot of money. So I want to make sure that I am actually physically keeping track of the dollars that I'm spending in terms of items that I'm getting for that spend. So go forward, any sets, boxes, or bundles that I purchase will be per item. So if there's 5 items in that $280 spend, that will take 5 points out of my bank. Blushes, highlights, and lip glosses have a 5 purchase max or a 1 in and 1 out. So with that said, I can purchase up to 5 without there being any kind of repercussions. But once I get past that 5, I have to, for instance, blushes. Last year I purchased 12 and I had a 5 purchase max. Once I had purchased my 6th blush, I would have had to make a decision on which blush was then leaving my collection to help out with the fact that I've overspent in my blush category. I hope that makes sense. I'm sure that it does, but blushes, highlights, and lip gloss are all going to be in that same category because I really don't need any lip glosses. I really don't. I also don't need blushes and I don't need highlighters, but I always buy blushes, highlighters, and lip gloss. So 5 purchases max, or a 1 in, 1 out. Mascara, face palettes, and lipstick is on a no buy. I do not want those to come into my collection at all. I think also that I am going to do a penalty point. If I purchase any of those things, it will count for 2 points instead of 1 point. And the reason why I'm doing only 2 points this year versus 5 points last year is because I'm starting with half of the points that I gave myself last year. So I started doing a turn and burn this year, and for that turn and burn, I am going to be counting those samples. So 10 of those samples through turn and burn will equal 1 point. I thought about changing this to 20 samples through turn and burn will equal 1 point, but I'm not always getting makeup samples in turn and burn. I do think that 10 samples through turn and burn to equal 1 point is sufficient. I think it does sound right to me, especially considering it has to be a makeup sample, and I don't have a lot of makeup samples that I have been utilizing through turn and burn thus far, or that I've pulled through turn and burn thus far. There will be no more than 20 products brought into my inventory through purchasing. That's rough, right? That's hard. But just a reminder, that doesn't mean I'm stuck to 20 products period to purchase. That means between emptying items and bringing in items, that difference cannot be more than 20 points. And then, of course, as always, decluttering items do not add points for my makeup rehab. So you guys just saw a foundation, concealer, and corrector declutter, and I decluttered 6 pieces out of my foundation, corrector, concealer category. Those 6 items do not count for items that I can bring into my collection, therefore. Now that we're through all the nitty gritty, let's talk about my purchases and my empties. So let's talk about purchases first, and I just have 3. I just have 3 purchases. I know that you guys are like, whoa, wait a minute, you got a lucky bag. You're absolutely right, I got a lucky bag, but I took the points out of last year's makeup rehab finale in December because I knew that I had ordered it. Was going to order it December 26th, and that was money that I had spent in 2023 and did not want it to come back to bite me in 2024. So I already took those items out. Now they did go into my inventory as of this month as of January, because I didn't get it until January. But as far as the purchases for beauty bank reasons, that already came out of my points. So I only have 3 purchases. And I'm sure that you will see 2 of them are the very same thing. So I have this problem where when I want something, I want it now, right? Instant gratification. I want it now. That's initially what got me into this problem. I did pick up the Fenty Ease Drop Blur Smooth Thick Stick. Is that what it's called? Thick Stick. It should be called Thick Stick. Like she has all kinds of kooky names for it. Tint stick, and I picked it up in 2 different shades. So I do have shade 4 and I do have shade 6. So initially when I went into the store to purchase this, I matched myself to shade 4 and it was nowhere to be found. It was consistently out of stock, and I was like, okay, well, shade 6 comes super close. I can make it work. So I purchased this like 2 weeks ago in shade 6. Well, this week when I went into stores, shade 4 was available. So now I have shade 4 and shade 6. Will I take shade 6 back? No, because I do think that shade 6 will also be a good match for me, and I will be able to make both work. Unless I don't like shade 4, shade 6 will stay with me also. And also, I don't like taking back makeup because I work at Ulta Beauty. I know what happens to makeup that's taken back, and it's super tragic in my humble opinion for somebody who loves makeup so much. The only other thing that I purchased in the month of January was a Gimme Brow So I don't use very much as far as brow products go. I have my brows touched by the magical hands of a benefit arch expert in one of my locations. Her name is Natalie. She's amazing. She's leaving, and now I need to find a new arch expert. Moving to California, you guys have her. She's amazing. But I did purchase this because it's super easy. It's their Gimme Brow. It's got the volumizing fibers in it. And they finally started making this in gray. Now, the only reason why I'm ever have used a pencil is because I like my brows to have like kind of a cool tone to them, especially given the fact that I put Vivids in my hair, right? So cool, like black-ish kind of color. So I did pick the Gimme Brow up in gray because that way I don't have to use a pencil if I don't want to. I can just put this in, or I can use a pencil and use my clear brow, or when they're freshly tinted, just use my clear brow. And when I'm in between tints, use my cool gray Gimme Brow. So I did just purchase those 3 things. None of them is on the list of things that I cannot purchase. And I do think that one of these was recently in my foundation collection and declutter videos, but the other one was not because I just picked up the other one. And then let's talk about the empties. I do have quite a few empties that I'm really excited about. First and foremost, I have 2 eyeliners. One of which has been something that I emptied very, very early in January. It's my Benefit Cosmetics Their Real Extreme Precision Liner, and this one was in brown. I am going to need to pick up a new one because this was my last brown eyeliner. As far as a liquid one goes, anyways, I really do like this liquid eyeliner. It gets a nice precise line. What I would say is that like towards the end here, like it gets a little bit skippy, and because I can't count on it to complete a line as I did when I first started using it, I am calling it an empty. Now it is something that I had in use for about 6 months, so that seems about right, to be honest. And I don't feel any sort of way of being able to show you a swatch of it and say it's empty, because it truly is empty. What you're seeing right now is, you know, I mean, its last bit of life. The other one is this, and this is the Lancome black eyeliner that I was talking about in my earlier segment. This is the black eyeliner that I purchased last year that I failed that rule by. And, you know, the truth is that I do think that this could be amazing, but it's not. I mean, it's lost a lot. It's really dry. It took me 3 swipes to get that. I don't know if you guys can see that it's just kind of all over the place. It's a little bit more charcoal now than it was when I first got it. I like this eyeliner because of its longevity. It stays, might as well be waterproof. It's really, really a good liner. What I didn't love about it is that it is, I don't know if you guys can tell, but the tip of this, it's kind of got like an, I don't know, like a circle on the end of it, and it makes it really hard to get a precise line out of it. In addition to that, it is just, it's really floppy. It bends over. Wow, I'm getting a lot of color there. It bends over really, really well. So it doesn't maintain, and yes, that's great for a brush tip, but I feel like it's just a little bit too floppy. Like when I think about this one, how it goes on, there's still a level of stiffness to it that doesn't exist with this one. It's been really hard to use in the last several months because number 1, it's skippy. Number 2, it doesn't appear in the way it did when I first purchased it as black. And it also has been in use in my collection for about 5 months at this point. So it makes sense that it would be deceased. I have also emptied this. This is the Too Faced Mascara Melt Off, you guys. I don't even know how old this is. Distraught at how old I think this is and how I have continued to use it on my lashes. Like, what is wrong with me? So this is fantastic though. This is a product that I used to help get the like waterproof mascara off of my lashes. I don't even think that Too Faced makes this anymore. It's the weirdest thing though, because it did have like some kind of like, I don't know, liquid in there. I mean, I guess it still kind of has a liquid in there, but not much of a liquid. But this is the like spoolie dude. And you just like coat it over your lashes and it just takes the mascara and takes it off. With that said, I don't think that this is any different than like an oil cleanser. I think it's just called mascara melt off and in this little tiny tube that cost however much money it cost when I purchased it. It was good while it lasted, but this has literally been in my collection for probably 5 years. I do think that there's probably still some product in there. I just don't think that it's working in the way that it used to. And there's just not enough product in there to have it work anymore. And like I said, it's been in my collection for years. And I don't need to be putting it on my lashes anymore. This is a mascara that has been open in my collection since November, I do believe. And y'all know, or hopefully you know, hopefully you've been around long enough to know, I don't mess with mascaras, but I'll mess with this. Who knows? I don't mess with mascaras. Mascaras last in my collection for about 3 to 4 months. Typically it's 4 months at the longest before I do call them good. They're done. They're ready to go. They're ready to get out of my collection. Typically the first sign that a mascara is ready to go for me is when I feel like I need to pick them off at the end of the day. This one has hit that stage. It's also been open since November and it is now February. So it has definitely seen its 3 months, almost its 4 months, and I have way too much mascara to mess with a mascara that's starting to bug my eyes. This is my favorite mascara of the moment and I can't foresee that changing at all. I do have backups of this. I will be opening up a new one. I love that mascara so much. This is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Eye Primer. This is an eye primer that is worth not even a penny in my humble opinion. I did not love this eye primer. I will not repurchase this eye primer. It made my eyes feel really, really almost greasy. I felt like it did nothing for the performance of my eyeshadows. As a matter of fact, it maybe exacerbated problematic performance out of my eyeshadows. And therefore I stopped using it on my eyes after I put it into my project pan, but started using it on my face instead. It didn't take me long to use it once I started using it as face primer because there's just not very much in here. The doe foot applicator goes in here and that's why it feels like thick and big, is because there's that big doe foot in there. But this is probably the worst eye primer I've ever tried to use. And then I also have the Hourglass Veil primer for your face. This is possibly my favorite face primer besides the Bobbi Brown face base. I love that one so much. When it comes to a primer that's just a primer, this would be my favorite. When it comes to a primer that can also be an amazing skincare option, the Bobbi Brown face base is my favorite. I love this. I will likely repurchase this because it is fantastic and just makes my skin look airbrushed. And who doesn't want that? So with that said, I did have 6 empties, so I will be adding 6 points to my beauty bank. So we had 3 purchases that were made, so that took my 10 points that I gave myself to start the year off down to 7, but we did empty 6, so that brings it up to 13. So I have 13 points for the month of February. You guys, I really am trying to make, so much better purchasing decisions and really ponder on something that I want prior to purchasing it. Yes, I am an immediate satisfaction kind of person, but I pondered on this and swatched it again and pondered on it some more for probably a good month before I actually made my purchase. Obviously, I should have waited 2 more weeks because then my shade that I really think I am would have been replenished back into the stores, but that's where we're at right now. So I hope that you enjoyed my makeup rehab. Please tune in. I will have one of these every single month. I'm going to try and do them towards the beginning of the month so that I don't have new purchases just hanging out in a drawer waiting for me to do a makeup rehab. I do think that I have a little bit more strict guidance going into this year, but also a little bit more with the ability to be adherent to it. I like that I did a 5 total or 1 in, 1 out process for blushes, lip glosses, and highlighters, because I do think that that'll be a little bit more attainable. I also like that I'm incorporating in the samples that I'm going to be using through Churn and Burn into this, but that I'm giving myself a number of samples that have to be used in order to quantify for 1 point. I think that that is super. Let me know what you guys think about this. I know plenty of my friends here on YouTube are doing this as well. Are you guys doing a low buy or a no buy or some kind of buy for the year of 2024? I would be sure interested to hear from you down in the comments section. Don't forget to hit me up down there. I love bantering back and forth with you. If this was all over the place and felt a little disjointed, it's because I messed up 100,000 times in the beginning and I had to take from the middle to put towards the beginning. So I hope that I edited it correctly. Editing Donna hates my guts right now. That's okay. We love her still. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and you're wanting to subscribe and stick around. Join the YouTube fam. Let's be friends. I hope that you and yours are safe and healthy and getting along as best you can. I hope that you are all loving each other, but loving each other from afar. And until next time, bye friends.